Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Did you know that survey says the #1 place to live in the United States is the state of New Jersey? I'm not on here to criticize another state, and especially the inhabitants of that state, but I find this to be kind of strange. In this poll, it also lists New York as the #3 best place to live in the United States. It's kind of funny. Just one more thing that makes you not trust in the media. The comments on this post are kind of funny. If you read through them, all the people that either live in New Jersey or have lived in New Jersey or know about, people that live in New Jersey, that the comments that they disagree with the findings of this study or this poll or whatever survey. Anyways, that's not the topic of the video at all today. I saw that and I chuckled, and I guessed from I don't know, someone that's still a sheep and still, asleep might consider New Jersey being the place to live. But man, I could think of a few other places. And I know a lot of you are going to chime in. Oh, New Jersey's got a lot of, rural land to it too. It does. I just thought that this was a interesting little survey that they released, and also saying that New York was the 3rd best place to live in the United States. Anyways, moving on with the show today. I want to mention, for those of you that pray, which most of you I think probably do, I have a very close friend of mine that's in need of prayer, and I won't give all of his details, but he found out that he has some medical problems, and he might be facing a pretty major surgery, and it's a pretty serious deal. And so if you could just remember a friend of mine in prayer, he certainly needs it right now, so that hopefully he can make it through this without any major problems. All right. I try as best as I can to not get too over the board political when I do these videos. Sometimes I mention a particular politician or president or past president or whatever. But whenever I do, usually I get a lot of backlash from people, both on the left and the right, and then people, why are you bringing politics into this? Why are you talking about some politician, or, why can't we just talk about prepping and not talk about, politics? Well, I agree with that. And so that's #1 reason why I try not to bring too much politics into it. #2 is because I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, and usually my opinion kind of doesn't set well with both Republicans and Democrats. But the reality is that sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, politics does directly affect the things that we are prepping for. And so, again, I want to mention today, have you been paying attention to the president's overseas little tour of going to the G7 summit and then going to the NATO meetings, and then now he's met with Vladimir Putin out of Russia? And without trying to sound too critical of the person, I don't think that he's shown a very strong and fearless and in control person as the leader of the free world. So I wanted to show more videos on this, and I thought about it, of showing all these little clips of his gaffes and his mumblings and all the times that he said in the last few days, I'm going to get in trouble if I say this, I'm going to get in trouble if I answer these questions, or that, I've been told that I have to answer this, or I have to say this, or I have to follow the cue cards, or I have to take questions from this particular person. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously. I'm sure some would say, oh, that's just his way to joke. That's his way to joke around. Well, maybe so, but optics on an international level when dealing with world leaders is very important. And even if it all is just a joke, I don't think most of the rest of the world is taking the joke very well. Today, as of the making of this video, he had met with Putin, and there's a little bit of stuff starting to come out when I record. As of me recording this video, there's been a little bit of information starting to come out on what was talked about during that meeting. Breitbart news reporter is reporting, and now I'm getting to the meat of the video. I know, I've been watching this video for 5 minutes and you still haven't got to the point. I see that comment a lot, but the Breitbart News White House correspondence reporter reported that Biden gave a list of critical infrastructure targets here in the United States to Putin and asked that those not be included on any type of cyber warfare attacks. I want that to sink in a little bit. That the President of the United States takes a list of critical infrastructure. These are spots that are very critical to the United States. These are areas that if they were taken out, it would cause a lot of damage to the United States. And I'm going to go to one of our adversaries who is suspected of already committing cyber warfare attack against us. And I'm going to very nicely and politely ask that you please not attack these targets. I mean, we know you're going to attack us, and we know there's probably not anything that we can do about these attacks that you're doing. But can you please find it in your heart not to attack these? Because these are our most important ones. I've thought about this. On the surface, it comes across as being pathetically weak. I'm sorry if that offends some of you, but it does. Because if I was Putin, of course, the obvious is, well, that's the ones that we want to attack. And then, of course, there's the fact that he's going to him asking to please not attack these, instead of saying, listen, buddy, if you don't stop these attacks, you're going to greatly regret it. You're going to see why the American military and our might and power is the greatest and the strongest on this planet. But instead, he went there and asked very nicely, please don't hurt us too badly. I mean, it's okay to hurt us somewhat, but please don't hurt us too bad. The more I get to think about it, the more I think that this and many of the other things that we see in the news, especially recently, are just playing into my theory of the video that I did a couple of days ago, that we are living in a psyop. Maybe it is true just what we see on surface. Maybe the President of the United States is cowering down to Putin and asking that he please spare us the destruction of taking out all of our valuable targets. Or maybe it's just all part of this crazy psyop that we're living in. I mean, the fact that he got elected, that's part of the psyop. The fact that he's, according to the mainstream media, he's got, overwhelming approval ratings. And the fact that according to the mainstream media, he's done all these great things for the nation. And yet we're seeing over and over again prices skyrocket. We saw, again, just this week that I believe it was the production, some type of index for inflation has gone up to 6.6%, which is the highest since they started keeping track of this. These are inflated for products, making products, the raw materials, everything is going up, right? We had this recent explosion at the Chem Tools plant where they make grease. This place was the largest production facility of these products on the planet, okay? The largest production facility of grease, bearing grease, lubricants that are used in industrial and farming and marine products all over the world. That's gonna start causing some shortages, I would guess. I mean, there's other companies out there and they'll just have to increase their production quantity, but it's not going to happen overnight. More and more we're seeing all these little things happen, and it's almost like, because there was another one just I think yesterday or day before, that Southwest Airlines had to ground all their planes for the day because of a computer glitch or computer error. We're seeing this kind of stuff happen on a more regular basis. And I guess you could come up with a lot of reasons of why it happens. It's just what they say. It's just a computer glitch, and it just happened to be such a bad glitch that it grounded the entire fleet of planes all over the planet. The big private grid down there in Texas, the mighty Texas and their mighty powerful grid that they run isn't even able to keep up with moderately hot temperatures in June. That they're begging people to cut back. I think a lot of this stuff is obviously part of this psyop, but I think it's desensitizing us. It's desensitizing us over and over again, more and more, little by little, so that when the day happens, that something big is really taking things out and attacks are happening and crumbling of infrastructure, it's not so overwhelming to us. For those of you that live in California and have for a while, you might be able to testify to this similar thing happening. I can remember years ago when California kind of first started to go through their problems of heat and electricity, and their keeping up with everything. And they would, it was kind of a big deal. It was a big deal in the news. I remember it being national news when they would have rolling blackouts in California, and they would have to shut down certain parts of the grid for different things just a few years ago. Now, it happens all the time, and no one really cares about it. Just cyber attack. If a company was attacked through cyber warfare, hacked, shut down, taken hostage, it was a big deal. It's becoming less and less of a big deal in the news. It's just kind of a blip and they move on. I think what we're seeing, and I believe this with all my heart, is that we are seeing the psyop play out. And part of that is this desensitizing us to all of these things happening. Getting us used to the fact that, this grid goes down. This company gets shut down. This pipeline gets shut down. This shipping segment gets shut down. It's not a big deal. Well, just keep going. Prices go up a little bit more. You have to wait a few more months to get your stuff. Maybe you can't get what you need altogether. If that's the case, then we'll give you or offer you this new product. That's right, this new all green product straight from China. And it will save the environment. Of course, it's junk. Of course, it doesn't work or last that long, and it's going to cost you significantly more money, but it doesn't matter because, guess what? That's your only option. This, I think, will start to play out more and more in our lives as we continue to see more of these attacks, and we start to see or continue to see more of how America looks quite weak to the world. Some are already starting to speculate, going back to the whole Biden thing over in Europe, that this could be what many people have speculated for months, including before he was even elected. And I use that term lightly. But that what we are seeing is the everything's starting to shift to where they can somehow move him out of the White House and put in who the left probably really wants, and that's, of course, Kamala Harris. Maybe that won't happen. I'm just can't imagine how he could last 4 years or even a full 8 years, considering how things are going already 120 days into his presidency. So a lot of people are already starting to speculate. I also noticed that even the American media are kind of starting to be a little harsh on him. And I believe it was CNN did some reporting on his performance over in Europe, and it wasn't very nice. Wasn't very positive. So we will see. We know that this is all happening for a purpose. We know it's all a big orchestration. It's like going and watching a big Broadway play, right? Except it does affect your life. It affects what you're doing with your life. It affects your children's lives. It affects your money. It affects your property. It affects everything. And that's why we get prepared. That's why we get ready, because we know what's going to happen. We may not know exactly how, we may not know exactly when, but we know, even just simply based on history, because it repeats itself, we know that it's inevitable. It's inevitable that these things are going to happen. And we know that that's what they want to happen because they flat out tell us. It's not a big secret to them. They flat out openly say what they want to do with the world, with running it. And we're watching it play out right before our eyes, and it's sad that so many Americans are still asleep and they don't get it, and they just buy hook, line, and sinker everything that they're spoon-fed on media and by all the politicians. But folks, this whole thing with him giving Biden infrastructure, what a joke. What a joke. And of course, now when these things start getting attacked and getting shut down, all these critical infrastructure spots, and then we can say, oh, well, it's because, you know, the president gave Biden that list. And of course, Biden gave Putin that list. And of course, Putin didn't know anything about those critical areas. I mean, they don't have that kind of intelligence capability. And now that he knows it, of course, that's where he hit us. Well, that's why we need to get rid of our president. He's getting so senile, he's giving away our secrets to the enemy. I could see something like that playing out, folks. So be on guard, get ready, get your house in order, prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's right. Thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video.